Really cool. Nice interview with Max. Nice interview with Serral. Clem and the people is definitely a line that's gonna stay with us for a while. Clem and those people, guys. Also like how Max said, like, yeah, they can take some maps, but if they keep on playing Protoss, I'm not exactly worried. I love it. Alright, guys. Last Friday they had an absolutely epic best of 5, and apparently we're gonna just hop into it immediately. It is the rematch for the second time in a week. They'll play a best of 5 against one another. The best Protoss player in the world on the top right side, PSISTORM Gaming's MaxPax, against the best Zerg in the world, BASILISK Serral in the bottom left. Amygdala is going to be round 1. I'm ready. First series was fun, even if it was somewhat short. I think we had a good time. I am more than ready for this rematch. Let's go. Shout out to Daiki, who was going to cancel his sub at 100 months, but now he said he forgot to cancel. Do I go to 200 now? You can still cancel, mate. If StarCraft 2 or the Roddy stream is no longer for you, just know that you're always appreciated for the insane amount of times that you've been here. Thank you to Don Hozzy as well for the 121 months. I've seen marriages that were less long. I think most of them are less long than that. I appreciate it, guys. Fun little day of StarCraft here. We basically have the entire playoffs ahead of us. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll have a big brain bouts tomorrow night as well. So this Friday is once more going to be a proper marathon day. But it will be good. The winner of this best of 5 will of course play Hero in the upper bracket final. The loser will duke it out with Max Angel, Australia, in the lower bracket. If Serral wins, it could be Max against Max. What are you guys voting for? The prediction is almost over. 1.1 million versus 1.5 million. 1.6. Oh, Serral's still the favorite. Okay. The chat is still a believer. Last Friday they believed, and today they believe as well. Amygdala, I am surprised to see this map as often as we do it. To quote our good friend Mixu, it does feel that late game ZVP on this map is a bit of a Zerg hell. I have very rarely seen Zergs win if a bunch of Tempests are out and Protoss has stabilized on 5 bases. 84% my ass? What is 84%, mate? Nobody said anything about 84%. 1.1 million against 1.6 million is definitely not 84%. Oh, illegal. Yeah, that's illegal. It's top right, by the way. That's not left. That's right. Yeah, that is illegal. I mean, illegal takes a lot of results from the past, and obviously Serral's had an insanely good ZVP record for years, but that is just not relevant right now. That is not relevant to this current version of MaxPax. That is not relevant to this current version of ZVP. Obviously, the opinions are divided right now. In the eyes of some, Protoss is still not good enough. In the eyes of others, Protoss is way too good right now. One thing we can all agree upon is that Protoss is more competitive than it's been for a long time. And there definitely were times where, yeah, winning PvZ against someone like Serral felt close to impossible, and perhaps it was. That's not the case right now, so I agree, 84% is nonsense. Don't look at it. And I think you played pretty good in some moments, Reynor. I mean, obviously very aggressive, and maybe in game 1, if you just do an all-out 12 pull, even if you would have pulled the drones, if you would have done what you did against Nikita. Yeah, on Golden Aura back then. There are definitely opportunities, mate, but fun series, eh? We can do better tomorrow morning. 1 PM versus Zone. It was a fun series. Max has opened up with a single Oracle. I haven't seen anything else. This is just one Oracle, guys, coming out of the man from PSISTORM Gaming. One Oracle, followed up by 4 Gateways, Twilight Council, Robo. Are we going Christiane? Hello, Milky. Are we following this up with some Archons, guys? Some War Prism, some Archons. A little bit of Revelation. Pick up some Cryptomers. This is something that MaxPax did phenomenally well last Friday. Serral had a tough time getting the creep going, and we know that Serral never really has a tough time getting creep going, but Max was just there over and over again to push it back and deny it. +1 melee halfway done for Serral. +1 melee against Zealots with +1 is not going to do a whole lot for you. It will obviously make Link counterattacks a bit more powerful. But against Archons and against Zealots, what we really need is some Roaches. Especially Roaches on creep are going to do very good against Zealot Archon. If the Immortal count goes up, it can be a bit more difficult. We'll see how it all plays out. So far, I don't think Serral is too unhappy with how all of this is going, but Max obviously hasn't gone mega funky on his aggression. One queen does get picked up rather quickly. Man, these Archons pack a punch. He's gonna get the second queen as well. Now that's actually pretty good for MaxPax. Only loses the shields on the War Prism. That is a pretty big pickup for Max. Serral's not gonna be too happy with that. Especially not if we keep in mind how hard it is to get a lot of creep threat going. Serral has Overlord speed on the way. A lot of Roaches on the production tab of only 62 drones. And now makes even more Roaches and makes more Zerglings. Are we going to see a hyper aggressive Serral here in game 1? Is it just the day of Zerg aggression? Well, I was wondering why we're playing Amygdala. I think this is probably why. Serral is going to try to enter this one early. Max's scouting is normally second to none. I think that he's probably feeling that something is up, but I don't think he has quite picked up on it yet. Because if MaxPax is 100% certain that what is happening is actually happening, he's building cannons, he's building batteries, he's building a backup island. We now see the first cannons on the way. Could have maybe been a tiny bit earlier, but it still looks okay. First Immortals out, second one on the way, second Robo. No, we have already 2 Immortals out. Third one is on the way. Second Robo about to come online as well. Serral obviously does have a big army supply lead. But MaxPax has the better units. A lot of micro potential with that Prism. And we have a little Link drop as well. Link drop in the natural, Link drop in the main. Straight out of the Reynor playbook. First storm by Max is very good. Connects first with the first part of the army, then with the second part of the army. The cannons are so useful against the Link drops too. So I'm not sure if those Links are really going to make much of a difference. It's going to have to come down to the Roaches and the Ravagers. But if MaxPax does not mess up with the Immortals, I want to say that I think he's fine. A stasis trap for the Aegis. That is 40 supplies stuck in a stasis trap. The only problem for Max is that it's so good that he had a hard time getting past that army. And he does need to be careful that he doesn't get surrounded by all those units that were stuck. That is such a holy moly big stasis. MaxPax has done a great job now in retreating back towards the natural. One Archon is low on HP. Serral still has a easy high supply. Decent army supply as well. A lot of it I think is currently making its way to the other side of the map. Those storms are humongous. As long as the War Prism is here, I kind of think MaxPax is fine. Especially if he's dropping storms like that. He's got 6 Immortals, guys. There are 6 Immortals with a Prism. I think we've all seen that Uthermal YouTube short, right? Where the Immortals win against the Roaches. Who can micro them? Well, someone who can micro Immortals is MaxPax. And I don't think Serral can win this fight. Serral has very limited micro potential here. MaxPax can keep these units alive for days. 2 Immortals on low HP. But it's starting to look like this is a 1-0 lead for the man who came out on top last Friday. It's a good hold, and especially I think the cannon in the main, the cannon in the natural was a very, very nice touch. This situation right here is absolute hell for the Zerg. There's been a few games lately where Serral left and there was some debate on whether or not he left early. I don't really second guess when Serral leaves games. Besides that ZVZ against Ragnarok. I don't think he should have left that, but that's a long time ago. I'm actually surprised that he's still in this one. Because this one looks worse than some of the games that I feel like he has recently tapped out of. We're gonna just try one more time with a couple of banelings in the mix this time, hoping that banelings can find magical connections. If one baneling connects with like 4 immortals and the barriers get activated on all of them, but this is an unfair fight, guys. This is the StarCraft 2 equivalent of bringing a knife to a gunfight. Or even a whole lot worse. Bringing Reynor his silver hair to the club. The Jack Frost era is not going to cut it here. And MaxPax is going to take the 1-0 lead. Good hold by Max. Beautiful cannons. Cannon in the main. Cannon in the natural. This made it a lot easier to deal with those links. Allowed him to fully focus on the High Templars. Dropped really good storms, right? MaxPax definitely wasn't too trigger happy with those storms. He kind of waited. And every storm was cash money. The supply was that even though when he left, yeah, but it's not similar supply, mate. That's like saying you have to win a drag race if your life depends on it, but you have a 4-wheel bicycle and the other guy's in a Lambo. And you have to go down 1 mile straight. Who's going to win? It's like, well, you can give it a shot. You can try to cycle as quickly as you can, but you're not going to be faster than the Lambo. And 130 supply of roaches is not ever going to cut it against that many immortals and archons. This was not a early leave. I'm even surprised that Serral stuck in it a little bit longer after the first attack. As the guys from Masters Coliseum show us that we are in the lobby. Abyssal Reef is going to be the second map. We are ready to hop into this. So far, 4 for the Protoses and only 2 for the Zergies on the biggest PvZ day that we've had in a while. Is Serral in good shape? Well, he said it in the interview, right, that he's pretty happy with how it's going overall. Maybe not playing as much as he would, getting ready for an IEM Katowice or getting ready for Esports World Cup, but definitely playing a lot. Serral always plays, mate. If he's not in the military and if it's not like a special Christmas, New Year's break, Serral always plays. Will Serral have an advantage on Abyssal Reef because he played it when it was the first map or when it was around the first time? Nah, that doesn't really matter. MaxPax at this point has played plenty of games on Abyssal Reef. They played Abyssal Reef last Friday against each other. Now, fun fact is that that was the only game that Serral won in that best of 5. But the fact that Serral played this map 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think MaxPax was already playing, by the way, as well at that point. Just not at this level, but he was playing. Somewhere in the low 5k MMR region. There is no advantage in that regard. I don't know if it was Uthermal microing those immortals. I saw that clip. I don't know why I saw it. It just randomly popped up when I was doom scrolling. Like, wow, guys. Turns out that if roaches A-move into immortals without micro, that like, they do alright. But if they A-move into immortals that are being micro, they don't do alright. I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. Max had good micro there. But I don't know if it was Uthermal in that clip who actually microed it. Because I believe he spoke about somebody else that is very good in microing a War Prism. Maybe it was Arrockfire. If I would ever try to record content and it comes down to a War Prism picking up individual units, I'm reaching out to Arrockfire. Best in the business, baby. I think the interview was recorded last year. He said Merry Christmas. No, they already said in the interview that their interviews were recorded in 2025. At least Reynor did. I don't think Serral... I think the Chinese New Year is on a different time, so I don't know. I don't think that the players weren't even known yet. So I think that video was made in the last week, mate. Because they didn't record 16 interviews with all 16 players for the group stage. They just had a little request to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Chinese New Year is in 1 week. So I think it was recorded a couple days ago. Reynor also said that he was recording it in 2025. And I assume that they were made on the same day. So they also spoke indeed about the group results. So no, it was not during Christmas. It is an Adept Stargate opening once more coming out of Max. On Abyssal Reef, guys, last Friday, MaxPax busted out a very special build. Where it was, I think, Void Ray Oracle into a second Stargate Fleet Beacon and 5 Void Rays or something. It was kind of cool. It didn't quite work, but there were a lot of moments where I can definitely see a build like that shine. If a couple Voids get going with Prismatic Alignment, they get on top of Spores or a Hatchery, everything disappears so quick. I loved seeing it. Even if it didn't work, I thought it was a very cool, unique take on PvZ. What happened? That Serral started losing a year ago, no one could beat him. I mean, it's not that Serral is losing to everybody right now. Even a year ago, there were some people that could take games of Serral from time to time. But of course, Protoss got better. It is undeniable that Protoss got better on this patch than they were in the past. And players like MaxPax also got better. It's not that something bad happened to Serral. Serral's still amazing. And if you make the man play 100 random ladder games, he's probably going to win like 95 of them. Of course, a man like Clem can beat Serral. A man like Reynor can beat Serral, Hero, and MaxPax. You're talking about the absolute best players in the world. And Serral is a god, but even gods can bleed. I'm gonna... you're stupid, mate. There you go. You already lasted, I think, a little bit too long. That's the end of you. You can't just make stuff up for him. It's just not true. You cannot just sit here and make random stuff up and present it as a fact. You can do that on Reddit and Twitter, but you can't do that here. For an online tournament, Viadors, this is actually a very big prize pool. Even if this was the golden era of StarCraft 2, for an online tournament, this is a very big prize pool. You can go back in 15 years of StarCraft 2. I've always been here, guys. I'm not saying it's the biggest online tournament we've ever had, but outside of the Corona era, you're going to have a very hard time finding a lot of 15k online tourneys. So, yeah. Players absolutely do take this one serious. Has nothing to do with subbing or anything, Sublime. The man was a sub. I don't know if it was actually him or a gifted sub, but it doesn't matter. You can't just sit here and make stuff up and speak for Serral when it's incorrect. Like, it's not gonna happen. Roddy, I have an interesting question. When was the last time that Serral lost 2 consecutive best of 5s against the same player? It was Esports World Cup. He lost twice against Clem. First a best of 5 and then a best of 9. But before that, I have no idea. But the answer to your question is 2024 Esports World Cup, because Clem beat him twice. Solar before that? Were those best of 5s against Solar? Because I know that he lost little best of 1s and best of 2s in the WTL. But those were not best of 5s. If you're asking me when is the last time that the Protoss beat Serral 2 series in a row? Whew. I don't know, Kev. I'm gonna have to go back to like 2016, I guess. Stalkers with Blink are on the edge of creep, making their way into the natural. Serral's got a Spire, more than halfway done. We had Reynor in the chat earlier talking a little bit about his games. Reynor said Mutas are a scam. Mutas are bait. Well, Serral is gonna try to make the Mutas shine over here on Abyssal Reef. I wouldn't even know when Zess beat Serral twice in a row. Maybe he did, but... Mutas versus Stalkers seem like an odd choice. Well, there are moments where the Mutas can kind of shine, because obviously air units can clump up, and Stalkers, they need surface area underground. So, if you basically bounce between bases that are difficult to defend and Stalkers blink, then only a couple of Stalkers at once can fight while all the Mutas can fire over and over again. But yeah, if we're just gonna make like 10 Mutas and then we want to transition, I do kind of agree with you that MaxPax seems pretty ready for this. Maybe Serral was hoping that his follow-up would be Zealots with +1, right? And charge first. And that Blink would kick in a lot later. But it was Blink first. So I do agree that probably going to be pretty difficult to make these Mutas worthwhile. But Serral is a goat. Serral knows what he's doing. Let's see if he can find some openings. Supply looks very good for Serral this game. 82 drones already. 170 supply in total. Mutas do find a little opening deep inside of the main base. And at this point, you would almost say that it's already a good decision to go for a couple of Mutas. Get 6 workers, forces a recall. Don't know if we're going to get a lot more here. A couple. The High Templars look tempting there, but can't do that. You cannot fight that near a battery, near a cannon, near all those blinky boys. Who I think is the top Zerg at the moment? Serral, of course. There's absolutely no reason to doubt that. Reynor will always be goated, and Dark is great, and I like Solar, and I think Shin has done really good in a lot of the tiny online tournaments, but there is no discussion. It is definitely Serral. Max now moving out, wondering if he can hit some sort of a pre-hive timing. It does seem like he's going to succeed in that. The middle is going to try to buy some time. There's a lot of storm in his army. And Serral does not have the ability to build a couple goals. I love the magic boxing here, that's cute. That Archon is going to have a tough time. At the same time, Serral thought about jumping on this army. It's difficult though, right? The combination of Stasis Trapeze and Archon and all these High Templars with Storm. Serral sets up an absolute 360 no-scope Mountain Dew engagement. Is it good enough? Well, so far it's definitely looking quite promising. The Stasis Traps have done their thing. MaxPax used a lot of his Storm energy there. I think he only has max 2 Storms remaining. That was not bad by Serral, guys. Sure, Serral lost a couple of units, but that was always going to happen. Might lose the bottom base. That'd be a little bit more annoying. When now the Mutas come back, they're going to get on top of the High Templars and the Oracles. I think this is a Serral hold. The blink by MaxPax there, a little bit messed up. A couple of those units are stuck on the high ground. This is magnificent defense by Serral. Holy smokes. That's so impressive, man. That was such a terrifying Protoss army with a lot of storms in the mix. All those stasis trappies that you have to worry about. Incredibly well played by Serral. Yeah, I could try that 100 times as a Zerg and I don't think I'd win once, but that says a lot more about me than anything. Very impressive. Serral now does have Hive Tech, and that means that a lot of these Hydras can morph into Lurkers, and MaxPax got a Fleet Beacon on the way. This +3 is being researched too. Who's the best random player? I think we can host a little random tournament, but right now that'd probably go to Clem. Even Clem Zerg didn't look too bad. A little while ago in the big rain bouts we had a reverse match between Clem and Reynor. Reynor playing Terran, and Reynor's Terran is obviously quite powerful, and Clem played Zerg. And honestly looked kind of good. And we know that Clem's Protoss is amazing and his Terran is insane, so Clem is probably the best random player. MaxPax bleeding out a lot of Stalkers as he has to deal with some of these Lurkers as well that can obviously attack his base from the low ground. Serral's playing a stunning game, but here comes perhaps the most difficult part, and that is getting a Protoss of the caliber of MaxPax out of a game. How do we break him? MaxPax is pretty well set up, but obviously doesn't have a big bank. Is not even maxed out yet. Some storms, not infinite amounts of storms. Looks good for Serral. MaxPax is going to try to jump on this arm. He's got an Observe, he's got an Oracle, and I think MaxPax is going to clean this up. I want to say without losing too much, but still loses a lot to be fair. His supply has kind of plummeted. Lost a couple Zealots, of course, on the other side of the map. He's now building a mothership, but he's down to 125 supply. Showtime Zerg is damn good, but not comparable, I think, to like Clem's Protoss. And Showtime Zerg did actually lose against Serral's Protoss. When Showtime and Serral played against each other in the big rain bouts, they did reverse raising game 1. And Serral actually won on side Delta. Serral's Protoss over Showtime Zerg. But I do agree that Showtime Zerg is good. A lot of these top tier foreign pro gamers, if you let them play off-race for a little while, they're going to be damn good. Spirit has played a lot of Protoss, of course. Lambo has played a lot of Protoss and Terran. Arston plays a lot of Zerg and Terran. All these guys are pretty good. Showtime once beat Serral in ZVZ. That's pretty sick. Did not know that. Ladder game, I guess, but that's very cool. Serral's definitely beating MaxPax here, guys, after that absolutely stunning defense on his side of the map. The power of the Lurker. Some people have given up on the Lurker. But Serral is showing us here that it can still find its moments. And we're all tied up. Beautiful game by Serral. Very, very beautiful game. And honestly, those Mutas, I think they did a great job in pulling some units out of position, buying some time, killing some workers, forcing out some cannons and batteries. And then they also helped out in the big engagement, getting on top of those oracles, putting pressure on the Prism. Really good stuff. Once more, Serral wins Abyssal Reef, just like last Friday. Shout out to Retrotico. I don't know, mate. Don't know how to pronounce it, but thank you for the 9 months. I appreciate it. I'll just go with Retro. How does that sound? All these Twitch usernames are too difficult for me. It was pretty fun, LV Sim. Not the best games ever, not the longest games ever, but it was a fun series. I don't know why I thought that Masters Coliseum would only have a couple game pieces this weekend and it would continue into next weekend. But I guess it is the Lulu Cup that finishes on like January 24, 25 or something along those lines. By Sunday afternoon, we'll actually know who is going to win Masters Coliseum 8. Exactly a year ago, we had Masters Coliseum 7. That was during the Real Home Story Cup, that little drinking event that Dennis organized at his house, not at the Take TV venue. I went there and then I went back and forth every single day to cast Masters Coliseum 7 from home and then go back to Krefeld and then go home again to cast Masters Coliseum. It was a year ago and we had some amazing games back then. In the end, it was Serral who came out on top in the grand finals over Hero. A year later, they are once more at least on track to make a very deep run, potentially meet in the grand finals, but now we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Still a bunch of awesome gamers left. Zaun, Australia, Reynor in the lower bracket, and obviously MaxPax in the upper bracket. Top right side of ley lines, it is PSISTORM Gaming's MaxPax. Bottom left side, it is BASILISK Serral. You're one of the guys from het goede leven at Homestar Cup 26. I assume that I said that to a couple of the Dutchies. Heren van het goede leven. I have a hard time exactly replaying that scene in my mind, mate. But hartstikke bedankt in ieder geval. Homestar Cup weekends are proper roller coasters for me. I wake up and I start yapping. And I basically yap for 14 hours straight. And then I go to bed. I rinse and repeat. Have a couple drinks. Play a lot of poker. Watch some StarCraft. Cast some StarCraft. It's all kind of a blur. You know, the first one, the second one, the third one, it's all very unique and it's new. But anything between number 4 and number 27, I was there, I had a great time. Don't ask me what I said. Oh, you're one of the 2 Belgian guys. Are you the football fan? You're the guy who loves, not Anderlecht, but... What is it? Brugge? No, not Brugge. Fuck. How they called again? Or are you his mate? Yeah, I do remember you guys. RAFC Antwerp, yeah. Not Anderlecht, but Antwerp. Yeah, okay, I remember that. It's always fun to talk about other things with StarCraft fans than just StarCraft over a weekend like that. And I found a die-hard Belgian football fan. And I don't know much about Belgian football, but I saw his team win the league in probably one of the most ridiculous ways that any team has ever won the league. So we had a good yapping, good little yapping session. This is a best of 5. First series was a best of 5. This is a best of 5. I think tomorrow we might be entering best of 7s. So that's pretty sick. Maybe this is the last day of best of 5s, and from here on out it is nothing but best of 7 in the Masters Coliseum. It's unbelievable that in 2025 the Zerg won over the Protoss. Is it unbelievable though? But what if, guys, in this ultimate PvZ day, we have one Protoss winning 3-2 and then the Zerg wins 3-2 in the next series? Will we then all just stop being so mean and so whiny and just be like, damn, it's almost like whoever plays better is going to win? Or would it just not matter? If it's Serral, doesn't count. Absolutely. It's MaxPax. Max is the greatest Protoss that I've ever seen. I'll stand by that. Been saying that for years. I was ridiculed. I was made fun of. I was called a fanboy, but I stand by it. And I've seen some wonderful, glorious Protoss players, guys, over this last decade. But Max is the greatest. And a lot of fans will never agree because it's all about the Caspar guys or the guys who went back to Boudoir or retired. We're all allowed to have our own opinion. Not saying that he's the most accomplished. Not saying that he had the best offline performance, but when it comes to online StarCraft, I've seen this boy do things that no other Protoss has ever done. Hello, Meat Mouse. Heistum is pretty goated. It's not quite Max. Seen a lot of great Protosses, guys. Reynor will always be one of my favorites. Parting is forever a legend and has done absolutely amazing things as a player and just for the entire race overall. Of course, MC in his prime, and the list goes on. Naniwa was great. White Ra was awesome. So many, but there are levels to this game. And some of the things that our pros pull off in the year 2025 it's magnificent. It really is. SOS, of course, was an absolute genius. Let's not forget about Hero and how long he's been amazing. Both heroes, to be fair, but the hero that we were watching today is the real one. In the end, they had a little Slim Shady contest. Turns out he was the real hero after all. Doesn't matter to me, the rope. It doesn't matter. It's a different conversation. When we're just talking about what people are capable of with the race, when we're just talking about the level that they reach in these games. But that's a conversation for a different day, guys. Bit of a slower start to ley lines here. So Max has obviously tried to find damage, but Serral's defense is pretty clean. Queens are in all the right positions. Zerglings are moving around just to give him that tiny bit of a heads up where those units are coming from. I love that adept positioning, by the way. Between the Nexus and the battery. Didn't even think of that as a spot, but... This is a tiny bit scary for Serral, as there's obviously not a whole lot of creep on the right side, but I don't think Max is already expecting Baneling, so where Reynor tried to make some Baneling magic happen on Snowpiercer, it is Serral who's going to try to bust it out here on ley lines. Gets the jump on those Stalkers seconds before Blink is done. Picture perfect timing here on the side of Serral. That actually allows him to kill a couple of these Stalkers. Blink is now done. What are the Banelings up to? In the end, they haven't gone for anything. As MaxPax's reaction in pulling the workers away was very quick. No, this is upper bracket, Lord Leos. So, whoever loses here will play again tomorrow. Reynor will play at 1 PM against Zaun, and then the loser of this match will play afterwards at 2 PM Central European time against Australia. So, no tournament live on the line here. But it is obviously a big series. Hello Vegas, good afternoon. it has been for a pretty long time, Sir F-Bros. But there's always an asterisk, right? Because you can still say that there are 10, 12, 14 really good Korean players. And we don't have that many Europeans at that level. But when it comes to the absolute elite, when it comes to Clem, Reynor, Serral, and Max, they're absolutely there. And in my eyes, they're better, yeah. And they have been for a while. The big offline events also show that, right? Been winning World Championship after World Championship after World Championship. MaxPax is trying to go up to 4 bases. Serral has an army in the top left. Takes a little look. Ooh, Storm lands. Slow banelings, guys. I'm not going to find the connections that Serral is dreaming of. 91 drones, by the way, on the side of Serral. It's a frightening amount of drones, one might say. We can definitely go for a couple of YOLO baneling run-bys if we're working with 90-something drones. Hey man, water balloons hurt. Definitely been smacked by a water balloon in my early days. Can be painful. Max's work account tiny bit lower than what I would have expected. Definitely think that he has taken the potential aggression of Serral very serious. Has made a lot of units, has invested a lot in static defenses. Was obviously forced to pull the workers away a couple times, but 70 probes, 8 minutes in. It's been higher in a lot of the high-level PvZs I've seen out of Max. Seems like +2 is pretty close to finishing up. 4 bangs will maybe get a cannon. Go for... Oh, he did go for it. They all exploded. Can't even get the pylon, guys. More banelings morphing though. And this is the beauty of Serral's very high drone count. Like, the bad part is that the maxed out army of Serral is not going to be incredibly intimidating. It's only 110 army supply. But Serral can definitely go for wave after wave of baneling run-bys. Max, I think, is going to have a difficult time if he wants to be out and about on the map. To also make sure he won't take damage from all these baneling run-bys. There is a stasis trap there, though. I'd love to see that stasis. There is a big stasis in the center. Oh my god. Protoss! Starting to look a little bit like that guy in the subway, you know, who can freeze time. Freestyler. Rock a microphone. But in the end, the banelings will unfreeze. And they will get the pylon and the cannon. It is a classic couple. First Tempest on the way, additional Stargates being built. Serral's definitely tried, but it's hard to find openings. Everywhere we look, units are stuck. Bomb Funk MC. You know they filmed it in the Helsinki metro? I didn't. Is the kid finished too or not? I really thought that kid was awesome, man. When I was young, I wanted to look like him. Tall jacket, cool pants, amazing hair. That should have been me. Ooh, MaxPax. Does he know? Yes, he does absolutely know. He blinks forward. Seems a little bit crazy to me. A lot of the stalkers will melt. Serral's everywhere at this point. There's a couple links working on the Nexus on the right side. Are links active? No cancel. MaxPax is making a mistake. Take a screenshot, guys. Forgot to cancel Nexus. He's human. You mean the center base, Nikita? Well, Hero took it as his third base against Reynor. That seemed kind of crazy. Well, this is definitely a difficult base to defend. Once more, it's a bunch of Banes coming in from the center. MaxPax didn't quite see it immediately. We'll pull the workers away in the end. That Nexus is taking a serious beating, by the way. One more big wave of Banelings and that Nexus may be blown up. To finish Ben? I didn't know. Felt very American to Little Roddy when I saw it. Yeah, great song. Great clip. And I was only 37 when I realized it wasn't RotterdaM, but rock a microphone. I didn't know there were actual lyrics. Thought it was just gibberish. I have definitely sang that song for 20 years without actually knowing what they said. But it's all good. Waka maka fo tu tu. It's like, wait, what? There are lyrics to this song? Thought they just made stuff up. Honestly, this is a tiny army by Max. I'm surprised that he's so confident in it. If Serral can jump on top of it, I can imagine that he won't find a good fight. MaxPax still has a bunch of units in the center of the map, has a pretty big army in the top center of the map. Yeah, Serral is gonna jump on this army. This is just not a terrifying Protoss force. Sure, we can drop a couple storms, but what's going to happen is that we're gonna injure the Zerg army, but we won't be killing a whole lot of units. And there's a Serral who definitely gets the Oracles, gets the Tempest, should eventually get the Stalkers as well. That one Archon, by the way, got a couple sick hits off. MaxPax still confident that splitting up the army is the way. No detection here, by the way. Don't know how many observers we have. Went better for Max in the end than I thought it would, but I still think that was okay for Serral. Now he does need to wait a little bit, right? Because you have to be careful once your Corruptors are better than bruised. Takes a little while. Zerg might need a healing fountain. You know, I played a Warcraft 3 against StarCraft 2 mod yesterday. Maybe a couple healing fountains, guys, would go a long way. Oh, that is a great surround on the Zerglings. MaxPax will recall, but that's late. He won't get too many units out of there. And he didn't recall towards the mothership, which means this army cannot recall home anymore. I hope that Max knows about that. He definitely should know. That was not a recall towards the mothership, which means he used Nexus recall. It means that the army on the left side is kind of stuck. Skillers pointed out that MaxPax has severely handicapped and hurt himself by trying to take that rich Vespian Geyser base in the center. And the longer that this game plays on, the more that I'm starting to see what Skillers is talking about. Because it's just so difficult for Max right now to go anywhere and to go up to 5 bases. And obviously having a rich Vespian Geyser is cool and all, but if the rest of the game becomes hell for the Protoss, probably not quite worth it. Serral looking good in game 3, as we've got 5 Dropalords. The Protoss army is nearby though. Do the Tempest see that, guys? How are those Protoss binoculars? Not good enough. Uh-oh. Ah, that's gonna hurt, man. And I don't think Nexus Rico is ready. Is there a Reynor? That's a good question. I don't know. Can't see that. I'm not in the game. I'm only watching a clean feed. Oh, this is beautiful. I think MaxPax is going to take such a beating here. I actually think he's going to take such a beating. I feel like everywhere we look, we're going to look at Serral victories. Even though a couple of these storms are big, but the mothership will fall. There is no recall available for the main base. There go the Stargates. The fleet beacon will fall. The Zealot Warpin is going to buy a little bit of time. Serral, of course, is losing a lot of units as well and needs to make sure that he has the resources to rebuild everything that he's losing. Surprised that that much survived in the main, honestly. It wasn't even that bad for Max. Not saying it's great, but he did also get 14 drones. It's impressive. Serral indeed does not have a very big bank, which also means that if he takes one bad fight against the Archons, against the Storms, it could be all over. There's only one pylon protecting all those cannons there. Max is insane. That looked so problematic, with Lynx on the right, a potential big army fight in the center, and 40 Zerglings in the main. And kind of just dealt with it. And this is Amygdala part 2, but now we're on ley lines. And the Zergs once more feel the pain of the ranged Tempest. Are you gonna fight that army now? Yeah. You need a Red Bull give you wings surround. Reynor needs to come in and help Yona. A couple of Zerglings were still burrowed, I guess, in the main base, so they've made it back into the main. Oh, can we deny +3 from finishing up? That's actually kind of cute. And there's not a single worker in the main base as well. Honestly, big snipe. No +3 for the Archons. Imagine. One Immortus coming in from a weird angle. We're not. I assume we have Neuro. We have Neuro, and we are going to use it on a couple of the Tempest. How do you beat Tempest? Well, with your own Tempest. Serral kills the first Tempest of Max. Max does drop a couple of big storms. Nice Neuros though from those Infestors. Now we Neuro an Archon. MaxPax is so rich suddenly. It just feels like he is not losing money anywhere. No units are dying. Even when we know some of them are dying. And Serral is the one who is starving for cash. 18 minutes into ley lines. Went for a couple of expensive attacks and it looked promising. I don't think Serral played a bad game at all. This MaxPax has kept it together. And once he finally became a well-established 5-base Protoss, kind of cooking. Now there's only 1k gas in the bank for Max. The 3k minerals looks very cool, but minerals won't win this game. You're gonna need some gas. And I assume that the Rich Vespine geyser is mined out, so there isn't a crazy amount of gas income for MaxPax. That is worth keeping an eye on. Only has 1k gas a minute right now. The Forge got killed. The Zerglings that killed those 2 pylons also killed the Forge. That's sick. What a snipe. Honestly, with the amount of Archons that MaxPax has, that's actually very big. So it's a great game. And it's definitely not over yet. Big mineral banks can be very deceiving. We can look at them and be like, oh, the rich guy is going to win. But yeah, once more, Zealots and Gateways are not going to win this. It will come down to spell casting. It will come down to who gets the better engagement. 1k gas a minute is not much, mate. That's like 2.5. 3. Not a whole lot more than 3, I guess. Or 4. It's not crazy, man. Not like 8 gas up and rolling. Serral had a little more gas income for a while. It's going to be forced to cancel the hatchery in the top left. No, that's not correct, Zealing. You're not getting 100 gas from 3 workers on a gas for a minute. You get more. No. That is not correct, my friend. Nice fungo. Do we have a couple of neuroparasites perhaps as well? No, but the lurkers are getting some really good fights. MaxPax now having a more difficult time finding better engagements. Yeah, 320 sounds correct, yes. 100 sounds mega incorrect. That would mean that if I have 2 gases that I can make 4 stalkers a minute. That doesn't sound right. I don't do numbers like that in StarCraft, but that doesn't sound right. 320 gas sounds right. Yeah, but that's 114 per worker maybe. That's not for 3 workers on a gas. No, that's ChatGPT is lying to you. We can see it in the beginning of next game, guys. Once they're on 1 base, we can actually keep an eye on these numbers. But it's definitely not 100 for 3 workers on a gas. That sounds mega inaccurate. The Serral lends a little fungal. 163, so 320 per base. 640 for 2 bases. ChatGPT does not have all the answers, guys. They make some stuff up. Should ask for a nice little PvZ build and see what you get. And then you realize that you still need your good old YouTube content creators. Otherwise, you're in trouble. Because those builds are not it. MaxPax still has that massive mineral bank, but he is struggling. Currently having a gas income of 350 a minute. That's not a whole lot. He is going to get his hands on 2 more. There's a big fungo by Serral, and spellcasting by Serral has just been top tier this game. It's been so difficult, and it looked like Serral was in trouble for a little while. And he might still be. We never know how this plays out. But at this point, it's starting to look more promising for Serral, even if he is broken, even if... Oh, careful. I mean, obviously, either player can still mess this up. 1 great engagement against the spellcasters is all that either of them is looking for. I trust you, Jay. There's so many great Tempest spots on these maps, whether it's the old maps of Abyssal Reef or it's the new ones like Amygdala and Ley Lines. There is no surprise that we see a decent amount of late game Tempest play. Kinda sad for my bro, the carrier, standing behind me. He used to be all about the carriers, guys. The Golden Armada, the pinnacle of Protoss performance. Graviton Catapult, A move with the carriers, hands off the keyboard, and all you would hear is... What has happened to us? Look at us now. 2, 3 armies, different control groups, Tempest range, slow and methodical. Reynor says, isn't Serral dead? No, I don't agree with that. But if MaxPax gets his hands on another base, he's building 2 bases at once right now, yeah, then it can obviously get very dicey again. I mean, Serral is gonna need a good engagement once more, like he has been able to find before. With those Neuros and those Fungals, it looked promising for a little bit. Now it's starting to look a little more grim. Mixer says the Viper will come in clutch. Do we have a Viper? Reynor is trying to ruin everybody's excitement over here. Alright, Reynor. What if Yona still finds a way to win? One Zealot run by and the game is over. I mean, obviously, if MaxPax keeps on getting good trades on spellcasters, free pickups with Tempest, feedback here, a range value there, then yes. If MaxPax gets this base, it does become rough. But I think right now, you still dream of some Fungals, of some Neuros. One Viper, the Mixu Viper. I'm a believer in that Viper. 3? How about 30? If you're trying to ruin everything here and you say he's dead. You say somebody has an advantage, you can wager 3 beers. Fungal for the ages. We do have a big recall, I guess, on the Mama ship at the bottom side of the map. Hey, maybe Serral can get on top of this base now, no? Serral will. He gets some of the Tempest. This army can, of course, still get recalled home towards the Nexus. MaxPax built a 5th and 6th base at the same time, and one of them got cancelled, but he will have finally access to that base at 3 o'clock. Serral does keep the base on the top left alive, though. That's very big for Serral, his chances. And Serral started to mine a little bit again from the center base as well, with the rich Vespian guys. But he's not happy. I'm always happy with Reynor, mate. Don't you worry about that, Mixer. Only maybe sometimes at a day 2 of Homestory Cup, I'm a little unhappy with Reynor. If I tell him to go to bed, if I tell him to go home, and I hear he ends up at the saddest place in history, the Salon, that's when I'm a little unhappy with Reynor. No boy should ever be found in the Salon. Other than that, I'm always happy with Reynor. Salon, whatever. Couple carriers. We were talking about the carriers. They are on the production tab now. It does take a long time to build carriers, so that's a decent amount of supply that will be temporarily tied up in these Stargates. It is the longest game of the day so far. Who's currently winning? Well, according to a world champion and 3-time world champion finalist, the game is over and MaxPax has won. Now, I'm not gonna say that he's wrong, but I think we're doing Yona a disservice if we just completely count him out. It's called it's not actually a saloon, Kath. It's called the saloon or the salon, whatever. It's a very sad place in Krefeld, mate. That's what I mean. It's not a cool saloon. It's not like a saloon as in the cowboy movies back in the days. It's a sad place. And it hurts me when my boy Reynor goes to the saloon. Right, he's just hating because he can't pull it off anymore. If I have to hate at anybody going to the saloon, mate, then my days are truly done. Ooh, who's running who here? Who is flanking who? Look, it's getting a lot of big shots off. MaxPax eventually says, you know what, I'm just going to turn around. And somehow, these Archons and Immortals just never die. We kind of went back and forth there. There's a big-ass Sky Army for the Zerg. That's a lot of Corruptus. We do have that one magical Viper in the mix. I'm a fan. They're always hating on the Viper. Those top Zergies out there. I don't see how having a Viper hurts you. Is there a chance it gets killed by Tempest after Revelation lands, after it gets feedback? Sure. There is. But I don't see how it's a bad thing. And if this single Viper drops the greatest Power Bomb that we have ever seen, and the Corruptors get on top of this Golden Armada and kill everything, I never want to hear a bad word about the Viper again. Sell out? What is he selling out for? What? That's like when people tell me, like, sell out for Deadlock. I'm like, what? I don't earn anything with Deadlock. How am I selling out? This is like the worst sellout section in history. How can you call it? What is Reynor selling out for? Stupid. A sellout for the patch? I don't even know what he's arguing for. These are some magical fungals, by the way. As that army does kind of get stuck. Another great neural. Honestly, an absolute masterclass when it comes to spellcasting by Serral. It is so impressive what Serral has done. And I don't know if it's going to be enough. It may very well not be enough. Well, Serral is making this army look like it did in his glory days. Before the Tempest and the High Templars became a little bit better in these exchanges. Before they altered the range of a couple of these interactions. Serral's making it look good as ever. But he is very broke now. At this point, is 0 gas income for Serral. He's about to take 2 extractors, guys. And I assume he's going to fully saturate those 2 extractors. And then we can see how much gas he's mining. 1 more fungal lens. No Nexus recall available, I believe. There are some carriers in the mix fighting near these cannons and batteries. This is going to be hard, though. The fungals are big. We are landing a couple of neuroparasites as well. The Broodlord positioning is picture perfect. Is he actually doing it? The absolute mad lad from Finland. What a fight. What a fight. Skillo says this is hell for the Protoss. Is there a hell for the Protoss? It's starting to look like it. 1 more fungal lens on a couple of the Immortals and not a neural lens. As Hydras and Lynx get on top of High Templars and Immortals. Don't fight it, Yona, you can fight that. He wants to bring the Hydras to the front. I think that the Hydras could have absolutely fought that army, guys. That was a great fight for the Hydras and the Lynx. The Infestors go forward one more time. That one Mixu Viper, 1 Parabomb for the ages. Where is that Parabomb? I didn't see it. I don't know if it's there. It doesn't matter. I guess the Viper died. Well, that's anticlimactic. I still loved it. It was great. Now there are Zealots. So sad. Poor Viper. Serral got an amazing fight against the base, but now there are still ground units to worry about. Does he have an... Ooh, that Archon hit. I felt it from my entire body. Good surrounder on the Zealots. What a game. MaxPax types GG. Is that 30 beers for Roddy? I love Yona. I've always loved Yona. The GOAT. The absolute GOAT. Of course he wins it. Things may look bad, but man, what a masterclass. What an absolute masterclass of Zerg spellcasting. That is amazing. That's just... Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time fighting a couple of other Zergs on the planet that can pull that one off. The positioning of the Infestors, the Broodlords, the Corruptors, over and over and over again. This is so beautiful. What am I gonna do with 30 beers? Party at Roddy's place! Drunk old Protoss players for everybody. Everyone's welcome. Reynor pace. Whoop whoop. 30 beers, baby. We're gonna have a field day. Roddy's getting drunk. It's not tonight. We have 3 more days of Masters Coliseum, mate. But we're gonna have a little Cyclone party. Sponsored by Reynor. In your honor, Reynor, I'm having a Red Bull just for you. Great game. Stunning performance by Serral. An absolutely stunning performance. What I love as well is that now Serral wins. But if Serral would have lost, everyone's like, Roddy's so stupid. Why doesn't he just listen to Reynor and realize he's dead? But if you're right, like Reynor Goblin back then on Crimson Court, you know, everybody just moves on. There were like 1,200 people against me in Reynor Goblin. Famous line in the chat. It's like, there's 2,000 people who think Reynor is dead and Roddy is out there believing. But when I'm right, we just move on. If I'm wrong, I get called out. Like, he goes in against everybody. But if I'm right, what happens then? In this case, we celebrate with 30 beers from Reynor, baby. A 2-1 lead for Yona. Guys, I'm going to take a little break. Maybe the gamers will take a little break as well. What a series so far. What a day of Protoss versus Zerg. It is the ultimate PvZ day. I hope you guys are having fun. Oh, they're starting. I don't think Max would be too interested in the BS Arex. But if they're starting, I'm staying. I kind of wanted a little break, but too busy yapping. Honestly, I should yap less. More breaks and less yapping. But alright, round 4. It's very quiet because my Go XLR mixer is slid to the bottom. Bottom left side, guys. He is down a 1-2, but is obviously playing a great series. It is PSISTORM Gaming's and MaxPax. I've been loving the games between these two. Last Friday was good. This one is also really good. In the bottom right side, the Finnish Phenom, the finisher, BASILISK Serral. What a game. Wow. Thank you, Ascalon Mady, for the 93 months. True competition is who drinks less beer. Yona and Max. Neither of them are beer people. I feel like I've seen Serral with the occasional beer, but I don't think he really likes it. I think Reynor has made him do a vodka shot. He didn't really like it either. Serral is very chill. He will have one if there's something to celebrate, but I don't know about Max, but I just said that he doesn't strike me as a... I know that Max, for instance, loves running, and most people who actively love running are not very big in drinking a lot of beer. I know some people fight the drinking beer with running to burn the calories, but a man who plays so much StarCraft and then also does a lot of running doesn't really strike me as a guy who's also gunning down a six-packs every night. But hey, I could be wrong. Maybe he loves Carlsberg. Famous Danish beer. It's possible. I've never heard him about it. Reynor says, I think Max would have won if he kept playing. Lambo Harsum said the same thing. Mega cope. Yeah, Nikita, come on. Do you see what I'm dealing with over here? The man is down to 4 zealots. And people are out there saying that he's winning the game. I can take a little look at the final. I don't think that's true. I really don't think that's true. Like, obviously, I'm not in the game, so I can't check everything myself. But in my mind, he was pretty dead. Serral had 31 drones. Yeah, Serral had some lurkers left. Serral had a fully mining base in the top left. Serral has map control. Like, these zealots is only gonna jump up and snipe broodlords out of the sky and mess up some lurkers too. We can resume from replay. I don't have a replay. I'm not in the game. Serral had a fully functioning base though. He had the top left. Bottom right? I don't think he had bottom right. And now I want to go back into the game. I mean, but let's focus on El Dorado. It is game 4. Honestly, I don't think I agree, but... Also, the Zealots don't do particularly well against Lurkers and +3 melee Zerglings with Adrenal Glands. Center right, yes, there was definitely some, but I also don't think that would have been easy to defend. Honestly, I think it's Mega Cope sort of left. Mega Cope. I don't think it was early. Oracle flies in, activates Pulsar, beam kills 3 drones. I don't think that was +3, no. Well, guys, it's a YouTube stream. We can go back into it. After this game, if there is a game fight... Well, actually, I want to take a break. Once the series is over, we'll go back. We'll thoroughly, deeply analyze it. Right now, I think that's mega cope. I think it was mega over, but... Let's see. I don't think it was early. I think it was over, but... maybe the hype got the best of all of us. Maybe if we slow things down, we can take another look at it, but... In my mind, it was mega over. You're not saying he was gonna win, but he could definitely try. Let's look at it. Once the games are over, we can go back. Right now, we're in El Dorado. In the end of the day, it does not matter. There have been many moments where people maybe left early, maybe didn't leave early. Final result does not change. We've been on the side of it. Not Serral Ragnarok situation. There's been a few more. Even in the last few weeks. There were moments where Serral left and people said he shouldn't leave against Max. Or Hero. Well, we'll take a proper look at it, but right now it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters right now is that the score is 2-1. It is upper bracket, so there is no tournament live on the line. There is still a chance in the lower bracket. But obviously making your way through the upper bracket is easier. If you win here, you guarantee yourself top 3. If you lose, you can still be eliminated in 6th place. It's a big difference in money as well. So the series does absolutely matter. No, tomorrow it continues. Guys, this entire tournament will be played out in the next 4 days. This is the first day. Tomorrow we have 2 matches in the lower bracket, best of 7. Reynor versus Zone. And the loser of this match versus Australia. Next day we have 1 or 2 matches. And then the following day we have 1 or 2 matches in the grand finals. Maybe on the final day we only have the grand finals. If you guys do !B, you have a link to Wikipedia. And... you can see, and you can click on the little icons in between the matchups. See when the games are being played. It's mega cope, honestly, guys. Serral runs into a little stasis trappy. Gets on top of the Nexus, but does not have the damage to get the kill. Is IM soon? It's really soon. I heard first week of February, so IM Katowice is really soon. There is no news about a StarCraft tournament there, but IM Katowice is absolutely happening. Tomorrow, I doubt that. Right now, I'd say it's 98% likely that there won't be any StarCraft, because we haven't heard anything yet. But maybe they surprise us with a BYOC. Wanna play at Katowice, guys? Bring your own laptop and you can game, baby. I mean, if there is a world where we have a circuit, they obviously could have used Katowice as just a big standalone event where the top 4 of Katowice qualifies for the Esports World Cup. We don't have any news about the Esports World Cup, and we have no news about StarCraft being played at Katowice. As MaxPax, his Stalker gets stormed, but that was a lot of dead circlings. It's very unlikely, Gigas. But to be fair, they haven't said anything about anything, so I kind of forget about Katowice at this point, guys. Obviously, if you love Counter-Strike, there's still going to be an amazing Counter-Strike tournament there. MaxPax is being pretty aggressive here with a lot of gateway units. Has 3 High Templars in the mix. I believe 2 of them still have Storm. One of them might even have 2 Storms. Serral is setting up a big surround. Well, he sounded really grim. Even if it was on, it would most likely be the last. I mean, if it was on, then we'd be happy. People mostly sound grim because of the uncertainty right now. But this is not the time to talk about it, guys. We're in game 4 of MaxPax versus Serral. And MaxPax is being aggressive, is landing a couple of Storms on Hydras, on Lurkers. But the Zergling surround is good on a lot of these key Protoss units. And MaxPax is bleeding out a lot of forces. The Void Ray gets sniped as well. Well, that was another phenomenal hold by the Finnish Phenom. Looks really, really good for Serral at this point. But Eldorado is a mighty fine turtle map. It's probably the best defensive map there is, because it is a proper old school split map. I'm on the left, you're on the right, and that's the way we're going to play it out. Serral's got 6 drop lords on the way. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the links were amazing. Today is the 2024 HLTV #1 woman team Imperial Life versus the #1 men team Navi. Alright. Is Zaz playing? Is Zaz on the team? I think she's cool. She's been playing Counter-Strike and Valorant for so freaking long. When I was a tiny boy and I went to Warcraft events, she was already there. 20 years later, she's still owning. I've been sitting here behind a PC, I just yap. But she's still owning. Absolute champ. Zaz is cool. It's been around for so long, Diablos. Like, legitimately fascinating. It's very impressive. I think the longevity of some of these guys, and this is what I will always compliment Maru for as well. For Maru to be so good, as MaxPax here has a great blink, make sure that these drops don't happen. For Maru to be so good in StarCraft for so long is such an impressive feat. And for me, we'll always put him above a couple of the other heroes from the past. He's been good in so many completely different versions that require different skill sets. Serral is going to be mega aggressive here. He's going to try to break Max. He gets the Tempest, he gets the Immortal. The Dropper Lords have dropped a couple of the Lurkers, but it's going to be difficult to really stay alive here forever. They just kind of run out of anti-air. A couple big storms land on the Lurkers, and for now, MaxPax will hold. It was a messy hold, it was a bloody hold. But keeping those Dropper Lords away from the main is obviously a big step towards stabilizing. Game of Thrones pushes. Well, you know, you're kind of attacking into somebody who is amazing at defending. These guys are both amazing in attacking. They're both amazing at defending. Might truly stand out. If you think of Max and what made him truly special, is obviously his ability to defend fast expands in PvP, where nobody else could. It's difficult. Even if your name is Serral, it's difficult to break him. And he also has very strong defensive units at this point. The Mothership, the Tempest, Immortal, Storm. It's always hard to attack into that. And Serral just had a great hold on his side of the map. I don't really see either attack as a total troll so far. I just see them as both trying something and the other guy having a good answer for it. We're getting another 30-minute banger, it looked like. I think Serral is going to do his absolute best to not let it come to that. MaxPax is going to have +3. It's very quick this time. Got sniped last game and I don't think we ever got it back. Love the cannon here as well. That's going to help as long as Stalkers are in position to deal with all these Drop Lords. Serral, no, it's actually the main base is the easier target. I was about to say don't go for the natural. This could be big. Max might eventually have an answer for this, but I also think he might need to recall some units. I don't know if a recall is available. You know, the Stalkers don't do well if they have to attack into Lurkers. Oh, that's big already for Serral now. Stalkers are pretty expensive units, guys. And all the Stargates are here. Corruptors get on top of the Tempest in the middle of nowhere, but Protoss units have infinite HP. So most of them survive. Oh, look at the lengths. Look at the Lurkers. This is an amazing... Max is sending it? Is Max sending it to the other side of the map? That seems like a pretty crazy play now. He is going to try to keep his main base safe with some Tempest. There is a Storm, but Corruptors are so good if there is nothing else supporting the Tempest. The Storms are helping a little bit. Serral has an answer for this ground counter-offensive by Max. Now Double Knight is on the way as well. Serral is really doing his absolute best to make sure that this is not another 27-minute banger. Ooh, that's painful. That is very painful. Corruptors flying over the Archon Stalker army. It wasn't quite 20 Corruptors, but still it hurts a little. Couple Lings getting on top of the base in the top left side. Wide open base. I assume that the Lings have adrenal glands. Looking at this fight, I'm gonna say yes. Zealot This is also important to keep in mind, guys. Last game where people are like, but MaxPax could have made Zealots. Yeah. You know what Zerglings with adrenal glands and good melee upgrades do to Zealots? It's legitimately like probes fighting Ultras. Cast the curse right there. Which part? What did I say? Oh no, I think that Serral really is doing his absolute best to get Max out of the game. It's just hard. You can say that Serral is not trying to make any moves here, right? He continues to be aggressive. He's going for Nidus plays as well. Kills another Stargate. I think that's a kill on the Nexus too. And didn't see the cancel animation. A lot of minerals down the drain. Gonna be a tiny bit cautious with the way that we send these overlords back. Shout out to my man Porty, by the way. Love you, Port. Legend. Serral's gonna lose a couple of these drones at the gold. Drops the time warp as well. Some immediate storms on the side of Max. Serral is going to temporarily disengage. I think he sizes up this army and he says, I want a piece of that. Let's see if Serral is right. Lurk is getting range. It seems like a beautiful engagement by Serral. Is he gonna get rewarded for this beautiful engagement? It's starting to look like it. Archons doing their thing on the ground, but the Lurkers are gonna get a little bit closer. And now the Archons are busy with the Lurkers, which means that the Corruptors can just do what they really want to do, and that is battle Tempest. The only thing that remains are 3 Archons. The final Lynx kill 1 Archon, the final Lynx kill a 2nd Archon. Serral's losing a lot. There's a ground offensive as well by Max on the right side. Lynx will get on top of some of the Immortals, but the Archons here make it complicated. And now all the Corruptors in the skies, yeah, they don't really add a whole lot. MaxPax is hurting economically, but his army is monstrous. Oh my god, that's so many High Templars. Couple Lings and a Lurk again on top of the top left side base as well. But I just wonder, does Serral have an answer for this army? How much time can some Lurkers? There's only one Observer, right? Imagine a snipe on the Observer. Careful with your Observer. Spore Crawlers, they killed the Ops. The Spore Crawler killed the Observer there. And I don't think there is a single Oracle. There are some Lurkers. It may not be many. There are always some. Okay, he's got another Observer coming in. We have a new Observer in the mix. Serral is down 25 supply. He is mining a little bit more, but this is such a strong Protoss army. The drones are dying. Serral may actually be forced. Can we give up on this base? Is there a world where we temporarily give up on this base and we just try to max out with the remaining bases that we have? And Serral tries to make something happen with Lynx in the center of the map, but Max on his 63 probes just feels so rich. The man feels so rich. Is it really happening for the 2nd time today? The ultimate PvZ showdown. A memorable PvZ day in the history of StarCraft 2. Are both series going to Game 5? Maybe the balance isn't all that bad, guys. If we're going to Game 5 back to back, if we're looking at the 2 best Protoss players in the world against the 2 best Zergies in the world, and both series go to Game 5, maybe it's alright. Maybe it's not that bad, guys. Oh, what a fungal, but I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if we have enough remaining damage, but the fungals are absolutely humongous. Couple storms landing, the Corruptor count is just so little. It looks sad to see 3-4 Corruptors trying to do their thing. Serral is down 60 supply, he's down 50 army supply. Max doesn't have crazy income, but Serral's just kind of dead. 106 supply with 40 drones. At this point, I don't see where Serral finds the resources to rebuild the army that he once upon a time had. The army that he's dreaming of. Four more Lurkers pop out of the main. Maybe get some pylons, get a fleet beacon, get a Nexus, but Max has done a stunning job and just keeping a lot of these key units alive. Never really moving his entire army to the bottom side. Never used moving his entire army to the main when he felt that it was in dire need. Always had some ground units, continued to be aggressive, and Serral's the one who's forced to tap out. We are going to game 5. Honestly, it looked very promising for Serral for a while. Serral felt rich, he was aggressive, he was looking for openings with those drops. But Max just had a good answer for it. And then the first time that Max moved out with those Immortals and Archons, not the initial move out obviously, but after he defended for a while, just became so difficult for Serral to stabilize immediately. That fight in the bottom side as well, where he got the Mothership, he got some of the Tempest. Like Serral lost more there than MaxPax did, even if Serral's engagement was beautiful. It's kind of lacked the burst damage to really gun all those big units down. Nerf this shit Royce Protoss. Thank you, mate, for your contribution. You seem like a lovely individual. Back-to-back game 5, guys, and still not happy. I'll take a mini breaky. See you guys soon. 2 best of 5s where we get all 10 games today. Ultra love, it is. No time to waste. Nobody wants a break. For the second time today, we are going to game 5. Top right side, it is PSISTORM Gaming's MaxPax, trying to get his second victory in a row over the Finnish Phenom in the bottom left. Ultra Love is a interesting map. It is obviously one of the newer maps, not a map from the past. It's kind of grown on me. I like it. It's not mega fun for me to play because I hate maps with a ramp, but I do really enjoy watching games on Ultra Low. I think it's a pretty good map, honestly. Thank you, this is the way, matey, for the 43 months. I hope you're happy with your beautiful Phoenix. You miss Blackpink? Honestly, there's a lot of great new maps. This Friday, by the way, guys, tomorrow night, we will have another big rain bouts, of course. It's not going to be as special as last Friday when we had MaxPax Serral, but I think there are a couple of really cool games, should be announced sometime soon. And what I have done is swap out the 3 old maps. King's Cove, Abyssal Reef, and Neon Violet Square are out, and we're going to play 3 of the new maps that are currently like rated high by all the map makers of the map making community. One of them is called Hellscape. I saw it last week. I think it's a really cool map. And the other 2 are also used in some of the other online tourneys. I hope that we get to see some of them tomorrow night. I'm sure we'll see a little bit of the new maps. There might be a veto for some of the players, but yeah. These guys reached out to me, and obviously the map making community, I think, has been done dirty by the return of these old maps without them communicating. They put a lot of time and effort into making beautiful new maps, and they're honestly good. It's not even that the new maps are crappy. You know, if they're crappy, it's like it makes sense to go back to the old ones, but some of these new maps are legitimately good, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see hopefully some of them in action tomorrow night. The Void Ray first coming out of Max. Makes me think of that Void Ray Oracle into 5 Void Ray build. Is he going down that route? I don't know. Yeah, with a chrono, killed it though. He could also do something very extreme, obviously. Game 5 for all the marbles. We kill the Overlord and we drop 8 gates with Zealot Charge. And we close our eyes and we aim move some Zealots to the other side of the map. That'd be kind of sick. It is Void Ray into Oracle. What's coming after that? We'll still be playing Echo and Coda. They were fun. For the time they were fun. It's the Twilight Council. Oracle, it's unlikely after a Void Ray. I think it's unlikely that Max would ever make more than 2 Oracles here. Might even just stay on single Oracle, to be fair. The Twilight Council is quite early. Could be Resonating Glaives. Not a bad map for it. Void Ray is being annoying, but doesn't really get a whole lot done. Oracle flies in. What a save by Yona on that drone. Woo! So quick. Like a bald eagle, baby. It is Resonating Glaives on the side of Max. Forward base as well. This could be a short final game, because either these adepts cook and then the follow-up attack by Max is going to be almost impossible to defend, or Serral handles this incredibly well. And then he might have an opportunity to counter with a lot of Link, Roaches, Ravages, perhaps even Queens. Serral's Roach Warren does feel late. 4:55. Ay, that feels really late. Serral does get the 4th base down, but okay, I think at this point he will realize immediately. But what do you even do then? Like more Queens? We need some sort of a wall up. Oh, this is big, by the way. The Link showing up. Reducing the adept count here is actually amazing for Serral. MaxPax doesn't want to reveal all the other adepts he already has, because he doesn't want to give it away, but this is really big by Serral. Holy, they buff Protoss. Even Serral can't win. You're right, mate. Haven't seen Serral win a map in forever. The drone count is definitely too high, but Serral's capable of magic. But he needs to see this immediately. 1 roach, 10 roaches. Do we have some sort of an ability to get a wall off going? First adept is actually a bit too far ahead. I think that's a tiny mistake. I mean, this is going to be really difficult. But if anybody can do it... Oh, Serral with a roach that is misrelic. The adepts, where are they going? Link counterattack is kind of cute. The Evo Chamber is just going to get gunned down, but some of the roaches are out. Queens are doing the thing, roaches are doing the thing. This is going to be very chaotic. A lot of probes dying to those Links on the other side of the map. I'm starting to not hate it yet for Serral, but obviously we are nowhere near at the end of all of this. That Spore Crawler is going to keep us safe. Roaches take a great fight here against the adepts. Honestly, pretty damn okay. I think it's... Oh, that's big. That is a great move by Max. Finding that one exposed base where there are no Spore Crawlers, where there are no Queens. And the Oracle gets a little bit of extra damage done. It is 16 drones in the end. And there's still that Void Ray to worry about, because the Void Ray is still alive. Roaches cannot counter. I mean, it's still 4 hatcheries on the side of Serral. I think the Queen count is okay. I'd love to see how many Queens are alive, but... Good job here by MaxPax, who continues to try to hurt Serral economically. Serral's got a Hydralisk then. I don't think we have an Infestation Pit. MaxPax now drops the Templar Archive. I wonder, is there a world where we can just spam old school Roach Hydra and get a couple Ravages to break force fields? Or a Blink Stalk is just too powerful? Would that just hit too late? Will Storm be ready at that point? Even game was P slightly ahead. I'd say, I guess MaxPax is slightly ahead. But it comes down to the next big fight. Like, Serral obviously now is in a position where he cannot take a bad fight. He drops the Infestation Pit, which tells us that he kind of just wants to defend. And if he's just going to defend, then I definitely think MaxPax is ahead. Might be the better choice, don't get me wrong, but 68 workers against 68 workers. Storm on the way, 4th base on the way. Now a lot of Overlords on the way as 14 Links get fired up as well. Serral splits off some Roaches. Could be kind of difficult for Max to deal with those Roaches if he doesn't see them coming. Still lair tag at this point for Serral. The Roaches are going to get in. And that is a Warp Prism in production. I think Max has to either recall here or warp in a lot of units. Serral goes for the Pylon. Maybe not the best choice. Kind of feel like clicking those Roaches into the mineral line would have been a slightly better choice. Serral's got 90 army supply at this point. Storm is 70-80% done. It does feel like it is old school Roach Hydra. There are no force fields to worry about, so we don't need any Ravages. But there will be storms to worry about. Do you guys think he cancelled that infestation pit? Because it was on the production tab. Yeah, he cancelled it. Now he's firing it up again. Serral just wants to at least get this base. Also has roaches coming in from the left right now. MaxPax, where are those storms? First one is not that good. And that is putting it mildly. Oh no, Max! Max makes an incredibly uncharacteristic mistake. Clicks 3 High Templars into the middle of nowhere. Serral says thank you very much. He gets all of them, gets the base. Whew! And I think Serral can continue attacking here, guys. There's 1 High Templar with Storm. The Stalkers are going to have a hard time dealing with this many Hydras, and +2 missile attacks is about to finish up. I wouldn't even hate it if Serral continues to be aggressive. But there is a War Prism with 4 Zealots. It's going to buy some time. Serral obviously happy that he dropped MaxPax to 3 bases. Now feels confident enough to fire up the Hive, fire up the Lurker then. MaxPax is going to try to re-establish that 4th base. That Void Ray has been around for such a long time. Needs to be sent back here, will get saved. Doors are wide open. Serral could click a couple of units into the Natural if he wants to. It's been a draining series, I think, Reynor. Even for Max, this has been a draining series. I know he's the ultimate grinder and he's the ultimate warrior of the night, but the level of intensity that it requires to play a best of 5 like this against Serral, this is going to drain you a lot quicker than winning 17 best of 3s in a row in weekly cups, right? Well, there was 1 High Templar, J-Money, but I agree. I think that Serral could have continued to be a bit aggressive there. I really believe in +2 Hydras against pure Stalkers. But Serral, I guess, did not want to throw after finding a big victory, killing the 4th base, killing all those High Templars. Didn't want to take damage against the War Prism at home. You know, there is an argument to be made for that. What is Serral waiting for now? Well, Serral just invested in Hive Tech. Serral just invested in the Lurker then, so clearly he is waiting to get some sort of an ROI from all those investments. He's getting Lurker range. Maybe Adrenal Glands? I don't think we have that yet. That Templar had 2 storms, correct? It was filled up. But it's still just 1 High Templar. Also, if the High Templar goes forward to drop that first storm, there is a tiny bit of a cooldown between the first storm and the second storm. Maybe Hydras could have sniped it, but Serral sets up a surround here. A lot of the links do melt against those storms, but still seems like a reasonable jump to me. We're trading out links, but we're getting some of those High Templars. We're getting an Archon. First Tempest on the way, Mothership on the way. Here's the Lurker's Burrow. First Lurker upgrade is done. The second one is on the way. Range is the one that most of the Zergs go for first. Two more storms land as 1 Lurker burrows on the left. MaxPax can see it. I don't know how. Observer somewhere, I guess. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's hard to spot observers on this clean feed, because obviously the quality is not quite as good as when I'm in the game. Serral sieges up the Overseers. Wants to see where all these units are coming from, and if there is an opening to be found somewhere. This is honestly kind of a tiny army that Serral is pretty aggressive with. Now the reinforcements are going to show up. Left 3 Lurkers on the left. That guy's a troll, guys. Don't worry about it. The username kind of gives it away now. Yeah, because of all the debris that's on this map, it does definitely become pretty choky, and it's so hard to find that game-ending engagement. You can, of course, take a lot of that out, and that creates a bit more space. Perhaps the Serral says, alright, you can have 4 bases, but the moment that MaxPax goes up to 5, that's the moment where he's going to try to punish him. He's going to burrow the Lurkers. Time Warp goes down immediately. Sometimes it feels scary when the lurkers are so alone, so alienated from the rest of the Zerg forces. That was Mix's Smurf. Woo! Lurkers passed by the Protoss army. Serral does have a couple of extra lurkers on the left. Max just runs into the first part, says, alright, I can fight this. And now it's 6-7 lurkers left behind, but if the entire Protoss army goes for it, I don't see how Serral saves these units anymore. So Serral has basically just lost like 30-40 supply of high-tech units. Didn't really get anything out of it. That wasn't it, guys. That was not it. I don't even think we could call that a trade. Now Max is starting to stabilize on 5 bases. That base at 12 o'clock is almost done. The Tempest count is going up. The High Templar count is higher again. I don't know if he can just attack, but... Serral looks at this army and he does believe that he can take a great fight. Is there a recall available for this army? That's what I'm wondering about. The corruptor count is massive, so we're just gonna dive right on top of that army. Now extra units coming in. Who's surrounding you? Who's flanking who? Nobody knows. What we do know is that the mama ship is goated. As the time warp goes down, the corruptors need to make their way back home to get on top of this mama ship. As long as that ship is there, it's so hard for Serral to fight the grind army. As a recall got used as well on whatever units were left, and Serral, his corruptors go for an adventure. This is hell for the Zerg. You've got units popping from 5 different hatcheries. They're coming in from different angles. So many rally points to immediately take care of as MaxPax makes it into the natural of Serral. The corruptors, that is so many corruptors that we are losing for maybe a nexus, not even a guaranteed nexus. Maybe 2 nexi, maybe no. Oh my goodness, I think it's a throw. I actually think after all of this, it is still MaxPax who wins the best of 5, 3-2. Oh, it looked so good for Serral at one point. After he killed the 4th base, after he killed the High Templars, could have perhaps sent it with the Roaches and the Hydras. Decided to play it out in a safer way, go up to Hive. It is Max who stabilizes, it is Max who finds some great fights against the Lurkers alone on his side of the map. And then hits Serral with a devastating counterattack. Both best of 5s in the ultimate PvZ day go in favor of the Protoss. 3-2 and 3-2. A PvP upper bracket final in the first big online event of the year 2025. And it's just the upper bracket final, that's not the grand final. This tournament will continue, guys, tomorrow morning with 2 more ZVPs. Reynor is gonna battle Zaun and Serral will be battling Australia in the lower bracket.